America will humble you. Hey, it will humble you, honestly. Imagine coming to the US for the first time, you sign up for a credit card, you're being given $2,000. As an international student, you have various scholarship opportunities available to you. You have the graduate assistantships, and then you have fellowships. The fact that you have full scholarship doesn't mean you don't have bills to pay. The fact that I was on a full scholarship didn't mean that my health insurance was covered. The full scholarship, they didn't explain it to me, because when I was coming, I said, I'm not coming to stress, I have full scholarship. I'll be on it always, always. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new, thank you for subscribing. If you're old, thank you for sticking and staying with me. So today we're going to have a conversation, or let me just say, I'm going to talk about the lessons I have learned since I moved to the US. Oh my god, like reflecting on it is just making me understand, like it's been a wholesome journey. It's been ups and downs. It's been a lot, honestly, but I'm just gonna share a few lessons. And even before I go into that, let me just issue a disclaimer that this is solely based on my personal experience. That doesn't mean that's what everybody else is experiencing, and that doesn't mean that that is what you are going to experience when you come. So this is just mine and mine alone. So let's get straight into business. The first thing I want to talk about is scholarships. Yes, scholarships. I know some of you be wondering, like, why scholarship and why is she talking about lessons in the first place? She's talking about scholarship. Calm down. Calm down, Yantubwasi. Let me break it down and you understand why I said scholarships. And even before I get into that, just know, the fact that you have full scholarship doesn't mean that you don't have bills to pay. I don't think you heard it. The fact that you have full scholarship doesn't mean you don't have bills to pay. Who should pay your rent? Who should pay your health insurance? Who should pay your phone bill? Who should pay your credit card debt? Who should pay your car insurance if you have one? Who should pay your utility, internet? Well, let me just explain. So, as an international student, you have various scholarship opportunities available to you. You have the graduate assistantships, and then you have fellowship. So fellowships are essentially like you are being paid to go to school, do a certain program, and pursue a specific research, and the school is covering your tuition, and they're also giving you like a stipend. So it's more or less like your salary if you're working. Yes. And a graduate assistantship, which is what I got. And even before I get into that, like if you want to know how I was able to secure an admission with the full funding, I have recorded a video because I didn't have to write any GRE, GMAT, or any of the English proficiency exams. I recorded a video. I'll put the link in my description box so you can watch that video. So the GTA, which is the teaching assistant, essentially you're just going to be teaching, and then the school will pay you for teaching, and then they'll also cover your tuition. And with the research assistantship, you're assigned to a specific professor where you're helping the professor with the research, and then you're also getting paid for that, and then the school is covering your tuition as well. And then the administrative one is essentially doing like an executive secretary, or like the office jobs, scheduling of meetings, like essentially doing documentations and office work. Yes, so you're also getting paid, and then your tuition is being covered. Now this is why, like, I say scholarship was a lesson I had to learn. Like, well, I don't even know, there's like some misconceptions about scholarship, but let me explain. Maybe you'll be able to make sense out of it. The fact that I was on a full scholarship didn't mean that my health insurance was covered. I came to this country and I was told that everybody in this country must be on health insurance. I said, oh, no problem. I have national health insurance. Or, it doesn't work over here now. It doesn't though. So your national health insurance, it will end at your international airport. I beg. It might end at Kotoka. But yeah, that was just by doing all this. I had to quickly look for an insurance plan. And I did. I submitted it to my school. I think it was about $50. And then the school got back to me 2 days later saying that, dear Hetty, your insurance doesn't meet the school's requirements. Like some plenty English that I have to check and then get a new insurance by a specific date. Trust you me, like I couldn't miss the deadline, because even signing up for insurance policies over here have like a window frame where you can sign up and get certain things. I couldn't meet it. Why? I missed the deadline, so I was enrolled on the school's insurance. My headache, my amani. Don't get me wrong, the school's insurance is good. Okay, and if you're an international student and you're coming here for the first time and you can afford it, I would say go for the school's insurance, because you don't know what's going to happen, like health-wise, in your first few months being in the US. Also, my school, for instance, gave a payment plan where you don't have to pay everything up front. You can pay like 40%, you can pay every month like $100, $200, whatever you want to pay. So eventually I got enrolled on the school's insurance, but as the semesters went by, please, I had to advise myself and look for another insurance plan. And even with the insurance, what was like annoying, I don't want to say annoying, but it was that I wasn't even falling sick. So because I was on the school's insurance, I was just visiting the clinic for nothing, just to do random checks. And even the annoying part about it is when you go, you still have to pay $10 consultation fee. One time I asked the lady, I said, I'm on the school's insurance, so why am I paying $10 consultation fee? She said, oh, that one is a mandatory fee, there's nothing you can do about it. If you don't pay that, it will be added to your BESA account, your school's account. Yes, you get an email at the end of every month of how much you owe the school. Moving on, university fees. Hey, I'm still talking about scholarships, don't forget. So even though I was on a full scholarship, I had to pay something called university fees. And university fees is essentially like the money that caters for events. If your school is doing an event and then you go, there's free pizza, there's drinks, souvenirs, t-shirts, bottles. That's what your university fees covers. So you'll be in class and you see a message in your international students group, maybe there's some free food here, you run and go and eat. It is your university fees that's paying for that. That is what your university fees is doing. I never understood it, so now I said, the full scholarship. So at that point, I was just thinking about it. The full scholarship, they didn't explain it to me, because when I was coming, I said, I'm not coming to stress. I have full scholarship. Everything set, like mini problem. Imagine being in like a foreign land and being faced with all these like financial obligations all over. That's not even rent. Oh Jesus. So coming in and thinking I have an assistantship, like I have a full scholarship, I don't even know why I was thinking I'll probably get part of the money before like school begins. I don't even know why I had that perception or that mindset. That's why I say this process involves a lot of research and asking questions, because I think that's where probably I was lacking, but I should have, I don't know why. I came in, and then in America, if you don't work, you don't get paid. If you're not doing the job, I'm sorry, you're not going to get your pay at the end of it, so forget about it. So if you are going to rent a place, always look for a place that your utility is part of your rent, because if you are paying utility outside your rent, it's going to be too much for you. Because mind you, if your apartment comes with a washer and dryer, like that's even too much headache for you. You have to pay for your light, stove, microwave, heater. The winter is even like worse, because the heater will run like something. You have to pay for internet if your apartment doesn't come with internet. So like, look for all of these things. Luckily for me, I found a place that had all of this in one, so at least that saved me some, money. You have to pay phone bill. Who should pay your phone bill for you? Like, you're on scholarship, so what? You have to pay your phone bill. It's not like Ghana, where I can just walk down to stores and go and buy airtime and just load it up, and when it's finished, no, over here you pay a month. And even with that, like, you have to ask questions. Ask people who are on a plan, and if they can add you to their plan, so that you can be paying them instead of going for your own line, which is going to be more expensive. And now let me explain a bit. The mobile plan, instead of like one single person paying about $80 to $100 a month, if you're on that plan, you're about 3 or 4 to 5 people on that plan. It will be split amongst all of you, so you end up paying about $30, $25 on the plan. So that saves you some money as well. Like, these were things I had to learn when I arrived, because I was just thinking that full scholarship covers everything. Nope. have to pay all of these things when I moving on from scholarship. Let's go to credit card. Oh Jesus, when you come, it's so juicy. Oh, sign up for Discover. Oh yes, it's very good. You have to get credit card. It's very good, but look, you have to be very, very mindful of your spending. Imagine coming to the US for the first time. You sign up for a credit card, you're being given $2,000. Trust and believe, you will buy everything you wanted to buy. Talk about updated technology, latest iPhone, you will buy it. If you don't take care, your credit card will just be like negatives, and it will keep going. Honestly, like, you just have to be very mindful with your spending, and you need to speak to people who have been here for a very long time to take you through the credit card system, because we survive on something called a credit score. And without a good credit score, you cannot rent like an apartment, you cannot even get a car, or you might be able to get a car, but like the deal or the rate at which you get it for, if you're doing like financing, will be somewhat a financial burden to you, because your credit score is already bad, so you're not seen as somebody who's credible enough to be able to make payments for the car that you're going for. So credit score is very, 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 very big in this country. Spend it wisely. If you think you don't need anything from the beginning, you can just be using it for groceries and all of those things. And yes, like by the time you realize you're negative, and you now have to, you will pay the money back. And it's the system works. So the system works. Nobody will come and send you a message or chase you that you are owing. At the end of the month, you get an email, credit card payment, minimum payments due. Oh Jesus, when you see that email, you say, you can ignore. Ignore. It's affecting your credit score. And just know that your name is in the system, so they will not come and chase you. But wherever you go, you get a letter from debt collectors. They are coming to take their money. Hey, America, it will bring you down if you are like those top people in your home country that you are feeling like, oh yes, you can slay, you can do whatever. But when you come into the system, Charlie, the things you'll be faced with, like you mellow. Another lesson that I had to learn when I came, or like since I've been here, is language barrier. Yep, we all speak English. Yes, I speak English in Ghana. I had my entire education in English. Americans also speak English, but please, it's not the same. It's not the same. Ghanaians were colonized by the British, and this is America. The language is not the same. I remember when I came in and I had to go for like an event, and when I got there, I wanted to use the bathroom. Okay. So Ghana, we call it washroom. I told them I wanted to use the washroom. Everybody was looking at me like, what is this girl talking about? What is washroom? I was like, I want to use the washroom, but people were looking at me like I had said something strange. Until they saw me wiggling. That's why they're like, oh, you need to use the bathroom. And I'm like, whatever it is, yes. Like, so I go there and I'm like, washroom, bathroom. It's not a washroom. So I spoke to her friend and she's like, oh no, it's called a bathroom. And I'm like, hey, Radu, my bath. What I know as washroom is bathroom over here. So like, it's a whole different. And even how we write some words, something like the spelling of color, the word favorite, like it's totally different. And honestly, like, I would say that give yourself grace, like, to go through the process, because at the beginning it was hard. Hey, you say something and then all they'll say is like, what did you say? It was so annoying, especially when they do it was so annoying. Like, everything you say, everybody's like like, you have to take your time and explain. It was so hard. And being like a graduate teaching assistant, that's where my headache and my nightmare was. My first day in class teaching, I mentioned my name. The kids were just looking at me like, not like kids, I mean the students were looking at me like, these are undergrads. They were looking at me like, who is she? I was like, who is this smallish girl standing in front of us speaking some weird English? And luckily for me, there was a Ghanaian in my class who was able to catch my accent, and then he mentioned my name how they would be able to hear it. And then that was my saving grace. So before I started speaking, I just issued a disclaimer that I'm not from here. Sisi and Ameba, like I just came, I'm fresh. I just arrived in the US. So it's going to take a while for me to learn the American English, and then if I pronounce something wrongly, like their names, it's just like, let me know. I'm willing to learn and take feedback. So that's what actually helped me. The fact that I gave myself grace, and then I made people know that this is who I am and I'm actually willing to learn. I wasn't going to force myself and do any lafa, like locally acquired foreign accents that meaning it will take time. Eventually you start speaking like them, but when you meet your Ghanaian brothers and sisters, please, it will go back to normal. Let nobody lie you, please. Your African accent will revive, it will come back. That's what that one day, it will come back. But when you're speaking to them, it just flows naturally. Like as you start learning and engaging more with them, you would start getting used to speaking like them. Depression in America is real. The word depression in America is real. In Africa, the depression for home being like I never even took the word serious. Like Africa, the depression, like waiting concern we plus depression. I'll explain. America is a very like busy. I don't know whether the right word is busy, but like everybody minds their business, and more or less like the cycle is wake up, eat, go about your duties, come back home. That's the cycle. So like there's less time for socialization unless you make a very, very big conscious effort. It's very hard for like an American to kind of take time off work to chill and spend the whole day like chilling and having fun. It is so hard. It's rare because the bills are too much. They're like it's as if when your paycheck lands, the bills already know, so they are chasing you. Like you are paying lights bill, utilities, internet, mortgage, apartment, like rent, car insurance. So every time somebody's working, like I don't even know what to say, like at every point in time people want to work and make extra income. So it's very hard for people to take a whole day off to spend and say today I'm just going to chill, and unless they need be or they're taking a vacation or something. That is how the system is. So you should just understand when you come and you notice that. And that is where like the depression comes in. Let me use myself as an example. My first 2 nights in America, I couldn't sleep. Not because I was overly excited, but because I lived in La Paz. For those of you who know La Paz in Accra, Ghana, it's very noisy. You are sleeping, you are hearing some bar somewhere playing music, you are hearing circle, Madina, like all these structural drivers are making noise in your ears. So that's what I grew up sleeping with, like noise. And I come to a place where on my first day upon arrival in the US, I didn't even see my neighbors. I didn't see anybody for the first 2 days. I decided to take a walk. I didn't see any single soul. Hey, I was like, what we see in America, like we see a lot of people on the streets having fun, laughing. Please, they are showing us New York, Vegas, California. It's not everywhere in America that's like that. It's not everywhere. Hey, it was so quiet. I couldn't see anybody. Like I didn't see anybody for the first 2 days. It was a struggle. I'm used to sleeping with the noise, and it was so quiet. It took me a long time, but eventually like my body adjusted to it, and now like even when there's so much noise I cannot sleep because I'm used to like the peace and quiet. Even now, like as I'm recording the video, you can hear how quiet the place is. That's how America is. Hey, so if you don't take care, like you won't even see anybody, and it will just make you sink in and always be in the house. And that's why I'm always saying to my friends that if you're an international student and you had a very, 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 very tight friendship circle back home, hold them so tight, because when you travel abroad, trust me, you need them. Like my friendship circle, oh my god, they got me through grad school. I'm not even going to lie. Like hold them, because on days where it gets hard, just hopping on a call with that person, cracking jokes will do you a lot of good. You have no idea. And please, if you have the means to go to your home country to go and do dirty December and go and chill, don't slack. Book that flight and go. I beg. Don't even think twice. Book that flight and go. Just make sure that when you're leaving the country, you carry your I-20, your pass. In fact, all the documents that you brought when you're entering the US, take it with you so that when you come back, you don't have any immigration issues. And also make sure to check with your international office and have everything cleared before you go, so that you are free when you're coming back and no immigration like problems. Is something else, and that is how the system is. That is how it is. Everybody's working at every point in time, even on Sundays, which is one of the lessons that I had to learn. My first Sunday at church, I don't know, I wore, you know how in Ghana we wear like African prints. We are so big on dripping to church on Sundays, like heels. And then I get to church, I get to the car park, I'm seeing people in jean shorts, t-shirts, sneakers. I asked my friend, are we in church? Hey, like now that I'm thinking about it, it sounds funny, but I just asked her, are we in church? She just looked at me and she laughed and she shook her head. She said, oh, let's go inside and you find out for yourself. Look, I got inside, we had service started at 9, yes, exactly 9 a.m. Americans are big on time. 9 a.m. service started. And it was worship songs. They sang 3 songs and then they said we should sit down. I was like, huh? Like, where's the praises? Like, Myra, I didn't understand what happened. Pastor came to preach, and then if you want to give your life to Christ, they just said raise your hands, and then they prayed, and service ended 1 hour 30 minutes, 9 to 10:30. I was like, what happened? I was so lost. I just, like, when church ended, I sat down for like 10 minutes. I was just looking around and I was so lost. I just didn't know what to say. I was expecting some fire. Look, church here is totally different, and once we close, people will say hi to you, hello, hi, get to know you, or they'll compliment your dress, because the church I used to go to was purely an American church. And don't get me wrong, there are African churches, Pentecost, but I hadn't experienced those churches yet. So this was a church that I used to attend. So circling back to depression, you have to make sure that you got yourself. You have to make sure you don't fall into depression, because the funny thing is you don't even see it coming. Honestly, like, you don't see it coming, because you can decide to go out, yes, during the summer, like you can take trips, you can go places, but in the winter when it's extremely cold, nobody is ready to exchange pleasantries outside. You don't even have the edge or motivation to go out when you get a weather alert that is going to snow, about 4 to 6 inches snow. Where do you want to go when you want to sleep? Well, you don't want any problem. You find yourself doing something that will keep you active and keep that friendship circle very tight. And if you have family here to bless, you're good. Like, at least you have people you can fall back on. But if you are on your own, Uncle Nam, I beg, make sure you find things that make you happy, or find yourself doing things that will keep you busy to at least prevent you from falling into depression, because it's very real in this America. Let nobody lie to you. It is very real. Depression is very, very real in this America. Moving on. Americans don't play with time. I spoke briefly about it, but let me go into details. Americans don't play with time. That African time that we do, it doesn't work here. If they say 10, they mean 10. If you like, come 10:05, it has already started. Don't know wait for you. Who are you? How important are you that they have to wait for you? They are very, very big on time. If they say event starts at 11, don't be late. You get there and the event has started. You think you are there at 12 o'clock because you are wardrobe malfunction. my dear, they've closed, they don't care about you. Always been used to African time, so I had to learn to adjust to the whole American time management system and making sure like I'm here wherever I need to be on time, because they are very, very big on time. If I delay small, I'll miss the most important details, and I don't think you want to do that. DIY. Do it yourself. Oh God. I used to see videos on YouTube and then Instagram of people in Canada, in the US, and they are doing things themselves. I keep saying, but Ghana, if I need a bed fix, I can go and pay Uncle Kofi, some carpenter be down there, and he come and do it for me, please. Over here, if you want to go, if you buy your own bed and you want it fixed by an expert, you have to pay like more than $100 for it. Did you hear me? You have to pay more than $100. If you convert it to your currency, how much is it? If you convert it to Ghana cedis, it's like 1,000 something cedis for somebody to come and fix the bed. So in order to save yourself, the manual, you will read the manual and you will find yourself doing the carpentry work yourself. Don't get me wrong, if you can afford it, oh please pay for it, pay for the service. But if you know you cannot, slightly used on Facebook to buy, or if you know you cannot afford it, please, the manual of the item that you are going to buy, read it and take your time. Even if it will take you 2 to 3 days, you will finish. For real though, I'll just emphasize on some of the things like you should research before coming, especially with the scholarship. For some people, their scholarship indicates like it covers health insurance, it covers university fees, but if your scholarship or funding letter doesn't say that and yours was like mine, I beg, just know that you have health insurance, you have university fees. At least those are the 2 things outside your tuition fee that you have to pay for school, and you have rent. So just psych your mind and prepare all of these things when you are coming, or make sure you have a budget to cover all of these things as you are coming. So if you're about to embark on this journey, just take notes of this video, okay? But just know that America is big for everybody, and just like I've been able to make it here, you can also make it here, and eventually share your experience with everybody else. And I'd also love to hear your experience as well.
But I'll be on it always, always.